Welcome to the Cherry Picker, the horror movie podcast where we like to kill people, but not really. I'm your host, Zach Cherry, and with me as always is...
What are you doing here? This is a naked place. Eddie of Edward is Truth.
And today we are talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie,
Yeah.
released July 31st, 1992.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Well, remember how I was saying 1992 movies were just a special?
What's your opinion on this one? Nutshell it.
This is not a great movie.
Okay.
By any stretch of the imagination. And there's a lot of behind the scenes problems that went on with it that kind of morphed it into what the version is we see today. But I think the blessing in disguise with this is that it wasn't what it was supposed to be. And because of that, it sort of begat the Buffy the Vampire Slayer television series, which went on to be such a beloved thing that lasted 7 seasons and made a household name out of Sarah Michelle Gellar, our favesies. And there's now a reboot that's in the works coming out
Fingers
next
crossed.
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it is coming out.
No, fingers crossed that it's, worth the wait and the ride
okay.
and everything.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to have high expectations, but it's hard with a property like that.
Yeah.
Well, my nutshell is that I fucking love this movie. Doesn't mean I think it should be taught like in film school as like a how-to, but I really only have 2 critical problems with it, which we'll get into as we discuss it, but I've seen it so many times. I used to own it on VHS. I actually avoided the series as long as I did because of my loyalty to this movie, because I was just kind of like,
Oh.
I thought they were going to ruin it. I thought there was a heart here, and I was like, they're just going to like make it about teens fucking killer. And then when I finally sat down and watched it, and then watched Angel alongside with,
Oh.
was episode would end and I'd just be like a toothless wad of gum like on the floor just sobbing, because that's what wads of gum do. They sob.
Well, that's very interesting. Yeah, because I didn't even know that a movie existed. I just was sort of introduced to the
Oh,
television series.
yeah.
And from there, I remember like talking about it with like adults because I've been like, oh, this is my favorite show, or like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And
Oh.
they'd be like, well, that's a movie. And
Hmm.
they're like, no, it's not, it's a show. And we're like, no, it's a movie. And then, once the confusion had
Yeah.
had the dust had settled, they understood that there was a show now, and I realized that
Right.
there was a movie. So I remember that was like the went to the top of my list of priorities. It's just like I've got to rent this movie now, and I remember renting it and watching it and just being like, huh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. But
Yeah.
one thing that is interesting is that a lot of the things that we see in season 1 of Buffy, like
Yeah.
more so like some of the beats, um, happen in this movie. So it's just like there were certain things that came up that I'm like, oh, I remember this from like this episode or that episode. Like specifically, I'd say that for anyone who's familiar with the series, the first episode or like the first 2,
Mm.
Welcome to the Hellmouth and the Harvest, the whole like exchange between Pike and Benny, where he like kills him at the end, like they're at the dance,
Yeah.
and Benny, played by David Arquette here, is just sort of like, like, oh, it's so much better this way. Like, look at around these people, like they're sheep. Is
Why do you like
exactly,
these people? One of my
yeah,
favorite lines that he
but like
delivers.
almost like verbatim the scene with Xander and Jesse,
Uh-huh.
played by Eric Balfour, right before he gets
Yeah, yeah,
staked. Yeah. And
yeah.
then like the whole thing with Pike coming over to the house, and like the parents aren't home, and he sleeps over, very reminiscent of the episode where she has Angel come over and hides him in her bedroom.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, but before she discovers that he's a vampire.
Of course.
Um so there's like little
Spoilers.
little things like, oh, come on.
In case anybody didn't know, Angel's a vampire.
Jesus.
I mean, maybe somebody doesn't, but it seems
It's
laughable to
it's
me.
moot. It's he is there's a whole spin-off series about Angel the
I
Vampire.
know, right?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
kind of what David Boreanaz is primarily known for.
We've
So
talked
anyway.
look, we talked about David Boreanaz on the Valentine episode, which was like
Hmm.
the second episode we ever did for the podcast.
I
And
wonder how many
if
mentions of
we
Angel we
didn't
made.
talk about him being a vampire on a show,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because at one point his wardrobe, it looked like he just walked off the set of Angel and just onto the set of Valentine to shoot a scene.
Probably,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. Great gig, yeah. As
Yeah, there you go. Sam,
Mhm.
have you? Shall I do something before? Because I'm so ready to talk about this movie, but we should probably
Yeah,
get
absolutely. Well,
different
let's
things
let's
out of the
just
way.
do the regular thing that we usually do. Also, just a
Yeah.
reminder to anyone if you missed last episode, Edward is leaving us soon, so there's only 6 episodes left after this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So get it while the getting's good, folks.
yeah.
I don't even. Why
Hmm.
would I say that? It's so
I
gross.
don't. Yeah, I know. Um, but anyway, if you've been listening to the Cherry Picker for a while, or if you're brand new and you kind of like it here, you can take it one step further and join my Patreon. So patreon.com/Zack Cherry, ZACKCHERRY. I always get tripped up on that. And with that, it's just a great way to support us a little and give back to the podcast. And, there's a lot of fun perks that you get with that, including hanging out with us in this live stream as we record this,
Woohoo!
which is then, either broadcast later on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Hmm.
But lots of perks with that. You get to be here with us while we discuss the episode and push back on our opinions or mention trivia that we might have missed. You also get to nominate and vote upon the episode that we do at the end of every month. There's also the fourth one, yeah.
Mm.
Lots of other perks like video hangouts with me, exclusive reviews, and we don't really do this anymore, but it's pertinent to the movie here because we used to do a thing called the Cherry Picker After Dark, which was
Yeah.
then replaced by the Patreon's Choice, and that was exclusive to Patreon. So there's actually a huge back catalog of episodes that we did, and we covered the entire television series of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that it's not like publicly available, but if you do want to support us, you can go back and hours and hours of like just
Each
that
individual
series.
episode. We don't
Yeah.
just sit and kind of like nutshell the seasons. We go episode by episode
We
and
well
rank them.
we did season by season. We did 7 episodes
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
covering
Right.
Buffy, and we ranked each episode in
Hmm.
those seasons. The first
Individually.
the first season we kind of did it mutually, and that did not work out. There was a
No.
lot of contention. So maybe if that's your thing, you can watch it. Just sort of like giving each other allowances and like, I'll let you have this one. And then we decided, no, we can't do this anymore because we just don't agree.
No.
Which was why I was so gobsmacked when we did the Halloween ranking a few weeks ago
And they were
that we were
almost identical. Almost.
literally, I mean, we didn't have the Rob Zombies in there, but the
No.
only the only difference is that you had H2O above 6
Yeah.
and I had 6 above H2O, but they were like right on the same
Hmm.
level. So
Hmm.
yeah, incredible. Not the same situation with the Buffy the Vampire Slayer episodes. You could see how we really got into it with those. So,
Yeah.
and plus a bunch of other movies. We haven't talked about the Cherry Picker After Dark in a while because we don't do it, but it
Hmm.
exists and it's still accessible. And I know that there are previews of our episodes on
All right.
YouTube if you're watching them. They're still there. So, if you want a little taste of things beforehand, like we talked about movies like Jawbreaker and Wild
Hmm.
Things and
Beyond the
Cruel
Valley of the
Intentions.
Dolls and
Yeah, we did that one too. So just a lot of fun. But anyway, yeah, I want to shout out some top tier Patreon supporters. So to the Michael Myers tier, thank you very much to Kyle Beard, Sam Levy, Ali Hamouche, Shane Allingham, Tim McKay, who was here the week before, who covered Trick or Treat with me. Horror Slut 95, Traj 125, Austin Hall, Cara Day, Michael Boswell, Def Con, and then Ghostface tier. Thank you very much to Eric Champney, Daniel Saturn, Stephanie Starbright, Baby Ghoul, Garrison Nichols, Craig Lynn, and Josh Burrow. So thank you very
Woohoo!
much. A lot of you are here with us right now as we're live streaming it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Edward, uh, grace us with a premise.
All right. I mean, it is, but it isn't. You'll get it when you hear it.
Sure.
In every generation, there is a chosen one. She alone will stand against the vampires, the demons, and the forces of darkness. And in 1992, Southern California, she is Buffy, the Vampire Slayer. Huh?
Voice, very good.
Yeah. And
Where perchance, oh, you're gonna say
yeah,
where to watch it?
subscription
Yeah.
platforms, Hulu, you can access it, or single rental off your favorite streaming platform. Or I looked, I don't look on Blu-ray.com anymore because it failed me last week.
Mhm.
So I looked on eBay and Barnes& and Noble, and I couldn't find any 4K release of this movie as of yet, so please tell me I'm not wrong.
I don't think that there's like a special edition of this. Like I've
There
never
was a
seen a.
25th anniversary Blu-ray that was released. I saw that on eBay,
Well,
so
what kind of features did it have?
I didn't look. So look it up if
I'm
you're
gonna look it
interested.
up. Yeah.
Okay. But it's anyway, it dubbed itself a 25th anniversary release, so, or maybe a
Yeah.
20th? I think it was
Well,
25th
because
though.
there was a 25th anniversary release for Jawbreaker, and I think the only thing that was added was there was a new commentary
One of
that was
those. Okay.
recorded. So it wasn't there wasn't a lot. So I mean, I've never heard anything. I feel like Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a movie that deserves like one of
Yeah.
those boutique label releases with just like lots of stuff. Like I want to hear what like I want to hear from like Christy Swanson. I want to hear from the
Mm,
directors of that movie. Hell, I
mm.
want to hear like Ben Affleck come in and talk about how his one line was dubbed over by there's an interview that exists out there. You can look it up. Um,
Good luck getting a hold of Ben Affleck for that commentary.
yeah.
Maybe there could be like a 3-minute special that he does like from via Zoom from his home or something, but
Hmm.
some interview.
Hmm.
But yeah, you can find it. Like it's been released multiple times on DVD and
Yeah.
Blu-ray. So we'll just cross fingers for 4K and hope that it
Yeah.
just keeps making. I think it should even be more readily available via streaming too, though. I think it should be. It seems like it would
Yeah.
be one of the titles on Tubi or something like that, because this
Yeah.
kind of horror movie is like what Tubi specializes in. So who knows?
Well, I have the DVD from a long time ago, but I watched it
Mm,
on Hulu because I figured like the streaming quality would have been better than the 720p. I
mm,
found I don't know if this is 25. I guess if it was 2017, that would be 25 years.
yeah.
It has a featurette, theatrical
Oh,
trailer, and TV spot, and I think I've seen that featurette. It might be like on um, YouTube, so I think it's an archival thing from like 1992.
that might maybe aired on MTV or something like that.
Yeah, so I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything current or within like the last 10 years or 20 years or more of just people actually uh reappraising this or just just like having any sort of commentary about it, which is upsetting because I feel like there's a lot to be said about this movie.
Mhm.
Even just so kind of like for the um phenomenon that it kind of uh it like came forward of just like the television series and how like Buffy is still in the mainstream with what's coming out next year. So it's like I was thinking about this too, and there was a lot of movies in the 90s and like 80s that had television spin-offs. Like there
Hmm.
were like Clueless was one.
Right.
There was a Ferris Bueller's Day Off
Yeah, I remember
television
that.
series. I don't know if that was late 80s or early 90s, but Jennifer Aniston played Jeannie
Oh my
Bueller.
gosh. I
And
remember avoiding that one because I thought it was just copying. There was a really successful teen show called Parker Lewis Can't Lose.
mm,
And it just kind of felt like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the series was just kind of like, well, let's do, we did it first in the movie, so let's just make a series about it. And I remember I tried watching one episode. I couldn't even get through it. I was like, I'm going back to Parker Lewis. Corin
Yeah.
Nemec is hot.
But
Anyway.
that was like a thing where these movies that were like very successful would get these TV
Yeah.
spin-offs, and none of them were ever good to my recollection. I never really watched them. I didn't see the Clueless one. I've never even really seen Clueless all the way through, but that's a story for another day. I've seen like 90% of it.
But you've
But
read Jane Austen's Emma, so you know it by heart. You already know
sure.
what
Okay,
happens.
sure.
Yeah.
Of course I've read Emma. But no, no,
Who
no.
hasn't?
But the yeah, it was just like these shows would come out, and the general consensus was that they were inferior
Hmm.
versions of it, and they would fail. They would last maybe like a season or two, and never be spoken of again, and like
Right.
never be aired or turn up anywhere. So I could see in a way, like, when Buffy came out as like a
Yeah.
TV series, that people would say, "Oh, well, this is just a huge mistake." And I think the fact that the movie itself was not well regarded when
Hmm.
it came out, that really helped. I mean, the quality of Buffy the TV series is already immensely better than like just standing on its own, not comparative to the movie.
Right.
But the fact that it came out and there was this better version of the or telling the story that was more closely aligned with, I guess, what Joss Whedon had wanted the movie to be, because I
Hmm.
guess like things had gotten so out of hand with his script that
Hmm.
he walked off the set. He like just
Right.
like fuck it and left.
Well, also, I mean, I guess in being in a role of executive producer on a series is a much more powerful position than I would argue maybe any producerial role, or
Yeah.
traditionally anyway, on a movie set. There, it's pretty much the director's medium, and the editors. But also, it's funny because okay, this is what I thought about while I was watching it for this particular pod. Because I have seen the movie so many times. I was reciting lines along with it. I was laughing, going like, "Oh, I haven't thought about that in a long time."
Hmm.
But I think it's funny whenever I feel like we do this quite a bit when we talk about new stuff coming down the pike that we don't like. Is that it's not a judgment on like younger people who might be into it, but it's more just kind of like I don't feel like this is for me. I feel like there's better versions of this. I feel like there's versions of this that were done before that I'd rather watch, and then there's a whole
Yeah.
other, maybe there's a generation behind us that is just gobbling it up because this is either their first exposure to it or they're actually finding value in it that we don't find. And I feel like for me, Buffy is kind of like exhibit A for me as a young horror fan, because I had a predilection for teen vampire movies from the 80s. And I'm talking about like Fright Night, I'm talking about like Vamp, I'm talking about even comedies like Once Bitten that always had kind of like a tongue-in-cheek quality to them, but also took themselves very, very, very seriously on like an operatic level with the grandiosity of the vampire. It was never just kind of like, "Hi, I'm Ted, I'm the vampire." It was always like, capes and smoke and practical effects, for them to
Yeah.
like turn it. I mean, I'd argue even maybe around the same time when Bram Stoker's Dracula came out, like it was also operatic and grandiose with maybe a little less of a sense of humor to it, but it felt tonally like aligned with what I came
Yeah.
to expect from contemporary vampire movies. So Buffy wasn't really an outlier to me. In fact, I was charmed that they seemed to be doing what I would argue all those other movies were doing, which was offer you a good time with a little bit of heart at its core.
Hmm.
Because for me, the loss of, say, Merrick, Buffy's first watcher in
Yeah.
this movie, um, you watch Donald Sutherland and Christy Swanson play out that scene and the work that's going on between them, even just the synthesis of their relationship up until that point. It's played with a genuine investment, and it's not campy because they're camping it up. They're not commenting on who these people are. They're doing exactly what good actors do with a scene, is that they're interacting with each other and learning things about each other. And they've already done their work in prioritizing like what things mean to them, what's going to make them lean in, what's going to make them roll their eyes and lean back. And because that's going on, and then because like when he's lost, I remember thinking as a kid, or well, yeah, 12-year-old's a kid. I remember thinking as a 12-year-old, um, uh, she kind of leans her head on him when after he passes away. And I always felt like there was this impulse in her to embrace him, but they weren't quite there yet in their relationship. Like they weren't cuddly, but it was like, oh my God, somebody who actually means a lot to me, whose life was in my hands and I fucked it up, and now he's teasing me, telling me I do everything wrong before he dies, but in a sweet way. I don't know. And then seeing the aftermath, seeing her just sit there and just look at like, his things while Pike is just kind of in the background watching her, and you just see legitimate grief across Christy Swanson's face. I just things like that really. I remember thinking, okay, this feels real. This feels like something that actually means something, and I feel like anybody who would dismiss this movie um, must not really be paying attention at 12 years old. I saw the truth. But so when the
I
TV
mean,
series got announced, I thought it was just going to be this fashionable, like, magazine cover version.
yeah.
And then when I finally did see it, I was like, oh no, they actually developed even deeper. They took kind of like the foundation that was laid in terms of the best things that were offered and really just developed those, is what I feel.
Yeah, because it's just like everything that you're describing. It's like the surface details are there, but it didn't really connect as a
Mm,
through line for everything. And I guess one thing that should be mentioned here, I think maybe most people who are listening to this know, but there might be a lot of people who don't. So this is sort of the prequel to the television series in a way,
hmm.
but not
Vaguely.
actually.
No.
So when the series started proper with Sarah Michelle Gellar, they sort of rewrote the idea of what had happened previous to this. So there was like certain things like she was expelled because she had burnt the school gym down where the
Yes.
dance was. That doesn't happen. I think it was supposed to happen in the script, and maybe it
Right.
was cut out for budgetary reasons.
Yeah.
Um, One thing specific with Merrick is that he wasn't actually staked
Oh,
by
Lothos?
Lothos. He was bitten and turned like he was going to like become a vampire. So
No.
while he still had his like human agency about him, he committed suicide to prevent that from happening.
Oh, that sounds so badass. Damn.
And apparently, and I didn't know this, but there's like a lot of tie-in graphic novels that actually were
Yeah.
made by Joss Whedon. There's like a whole like season 8 and like a story beyond
Yes.
what
Yeah.
happened that I've still like never um checked out, which I probably should as a
They've actually
fan of the
animated it
series.
too. Like you can get that on Blu-ray
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
But yeah, there's one specific called like Buffy the Vampire Slayer Origin or something like that, which
Ooh.
is the version of this movie that Joss Whedon had
Right.
envisioned.
Right.
Because you'll notice in this movie she's a senior, but then at the start of the TV
Yeah.
show she's a
Sophomore,
freshman.
right?
No, she's a
Oh,
fresh. Well, what's freshman? Because there's like
freshman
she's
is year one, and she's only spent 3 years in high school. Freshman year had been when she burned down the high school
so
that
how
she
many
was at.
years of high school are there in the
There were
US?
four. So freshman
Okay.
was outside of Sunnydale, then she spent sophomore, junior, and senior year in Sunnydale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, like we have, I think just three. Like it goes from like grade 10,
Oh,
11 to 12 here.
yeah.
Yeah. But that makes sense. So freshman and then season one, season two, season three.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, okay, interesting. Yeah, but I mean, if you want to find that graphic novel, or maybe
Yeah.
it's been animated, I don't know, but that would be the story as envisioned by the creator before the producers or who's the is like Fran Rubel Kazooie.
Yeah, friend Rubel
Yeah.
Yeah, Kazooie, I suppose. She
Yeah.
had only directed one other thing prior to this called Tokyo Pop, which I've never seen. But she was also a producer for Matt and Trey Parker's Orgasmo, and
Mm.
but she also produced. She had the title executive producer for the Buffy series and the Angel series. So
Oh.
I'm like,
Yeah, no, yeah.
wow.
Her name was like there the entire time. So I
Yeah,
guess she was just making money off of that
I
with
guess.
Dolly Parton as well. Amethyst, grade 9 isn't high school in Canada. Degrassi has lied to me. It's yeah, I mean, I think maybe in some places, but maybe in Ontario. But I just remembered like there's like elementary, so 1 to 6, and
Mm-hmm.
then junior high, which was 7, 8, 9, and then high school 10, 11, 12.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I
So
that's
so long ago now, by the
well,
way.
because that said, I remember there was a period of crossover. I experienced it too. Because when I was going to grade school, it was I went to a school that was K kindergarten
Mhm.
through grade 6, and then I went to junior high, and then was there in eighth grade for seventh and eighth. And in eighth grade, they changed the wording from junior high to middle school, and all of a sudden, all the ninth graders were no longer permitted to go to my school, and they opened it up to sixth grade. So there were still 3 grades,
Okay.
but they went down a year. So I went from being the lower classman to being the mid-classman to going to being the lower classman in high school again.
Gotcha.
So I didn't get to rule the roost until I was a senior, and I didn't give a shit anymore. But
Mhm.
anyway, um, I do have to say, like, another thing that I felt like, okay, there's still indicators of like things that like one of the things I chuckled at was just like the interaction between Buffy and Merrick when they were sitting in the graveyard. I was just kind of like, this feels kind of like it could have verbatim just been like lifted out of the series. Just like, do you have any gum? You know, and just his reaction to it, just like rolling his eyes, like I
Yeah.
said, just rolling his eyes and saying no, and then
Or
her just kind of like going,
Buffy's
oh, geez, yeah.
Buffy's line that I always just like, Giles, care much.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Like, I mean, we definitely cinched it. There are a few lines
yeah.
in this that I'm just kind of like, okay, I don't feel like Joss Whedon would have been okay, would have written that line, like, get out of my facial. I was, even as a kid, I remember thinking,
Yeah.
like, well, a facial's a real thing, so why would you even say that? But I guess it makes sense that Buffy's saying to Kimberly at that particular juncture, like, what language are you
But
speaking?
I think at the same time, like you can see Kimberly, she's the Hilary Swank character, and her whole
Yes.
friend group, they are like the Cordettes. So I could
Mm-hmm.
totally see Cordelia in maybe more so season one Cordelia being
Yes.
like, get out of my facial. Um, so it doesn't feel completely off kilter to me, but it definitely leans more into that camp of just like some of the more like I guess Valley girl dialogue. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
remember in like the first episode of Buffy, the
Mm-hmm.
girls in the locker room when they before they find the body in the locker, and like I don't even remember like the way that they're speaking.
Yeah.
I can't even recite it because it's so odd and alien to me. But it's the same conversation. They're like, "What kind of a name is Buffy anyway?" And they're like, "Hey, Aphrodisia. Oh, hi." You know that one.
Oh yeah, I had
Yeah.
forgotten about that. No, but I mean, I also feel like like whether it was Joss or whether it was the rewrite, somebody was taking a page from Heather's because we've also got like three, kind of like surface level vapid, mean girls, and then we've
Mhm.
got the one kind of, who is aligned with them, but as the movie progresses, starts to divert more and more
Yeah.
so from that group, and realize her own values, her own direction that she wants to take. But I mean, even down to the fact that like there's a Shannon Doherty in Jennifer, like because I feel like she's just kind of like the doormat, the one who gets her croquet ball knocked out of the way and just goes, "Why?" You know? Because she's the sheepest of the sheep.
Yeah.
But you're right about the Valley Girl thing. Like one of my favorite points is just like when, oh shit, it was when Buffy's talking about the dance, and she's just like, why would I even want to go to a stupid dance to see a bunch of stupid people that I see every stupid day? And one of my favorite deliveries is from Nikki, and she just goes, aha, like now we're like stupid. And then Kimberly has, well, and again, another one I just kind of like, and this isn't important. This happens to be the dance. And I still to this day, I don't know, there's something about Hilary Swank and the way she punches the dance that makes
This
me really, really
was
happy.
this was her first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she was the next Karate Kid, right?
Um, that I don't know.
Okay. I know she did it after this. I don't know if it was
Yeah.
her immediate next project, but yeah.
Amethyst is saying movie Buffy lacked the important quote, James Spader, he needs to call me.
No, I
There's no James
feel,
Spader, but there's the Christian Slater.
which is another Heather's
Yeah.
illusion, I feel. But yeah,
Yeah.
all I want to do is graduate from high school, go to Europe, marry Christian Slater, and die. I
There's
felt like
actually
Christian Slater was the James Spader equivalent,
yeah.
but more age appropriate because I think he and uh, Christy Swanson were probably actually around the same age at
Yeah.
that
Well,
point.
originally I think the line was supposed to be Charlie Sheen,
Oh,
which would have been like a more meta thing because I guess they Christy Swanson was in that movie with him, The Chase, which
oh,
I think came
right.
out like right
Okay,
before
okay.
this.
Gotcha.
But on IMDb trivia, it actually points out that Buffy has actually fulfilled most of these things by the end of the series because she's sorry, what are they again?
I want to do a graduate from high school, go to
Done.
Europe,
She did it.
marry Christian Slater, and die. And
She
she,
died twice. And but now, I mean, and just more so off of the out of the show because she was in that Dexter prequel with Christian Slater. So
oh,
I mean, it wasn't Christy
okay.
Swanson, it was Sarah Michelle Gellar, but it's it's all coming
Right, right.
about,
In the Buffyverse, the
Yeah.
Buffyverse. No, I I also just love like the vagueness of go to Europe. Like, I mean, she probably knows what city, what country she wants to go to, but it's just Europe. It's just one big thing, which just
Mhm.
kind of like speaks to, I don't know, like a narrow-mindedness that she has. But we also like we made mention before, I don't remember if we were recording it or not, but just like the cast for this project is fucking stacked. Like we've
Mhm.
already mentioned, like Donald Sutherland, but we've
Yeah.
also got Paul Rubens, Rutger Hauer, Sasha Jensen from Halloween
Halloween
4.
4.
Yeah, Andrew Lowry,
Ruler.
who was in his own other teen kind of horror movie, My Boyfriend's Back, about a guy who comes back from the dead to be with his girlfriend. My sister was a fan.
Mhm.
David Arquette as Benny.
Mhm.
And Alexis Arquette as the DJ
The vampire.
vampire
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
end.
Bride of
Ricky,
Chucky.
yes, Ricky Lake as Charlotte, the waitress.
Yeah.
And there were, oh God, there was another one.
Oh,
Yes, what?
can we just talk about the weird editing with the hot dog scene?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Did they just not film that or did they think it was maybe too graphic and they took it out?
I don't even, I mean, that could be the case, but you know what? Okay, let's get to my first knock and then we'll continue with the cast
Yeah.
discoveries. But because there's a lot of people. But I have a theory about
You've got a theory.
that it's a demon, a dancing demon. No, something isn't right there. Fans of the series will know what I'm doing. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay. No, uh, I, there's something about the action and the way it's handled in this movie, and it's one of the issues I have with the film, especially in comparison with the series.
Yeah.
But I mean, I really noticed it this time. I was just kind of like, I felt like watching the fight scenes or anything that was action based, because I mean, literally, like her cutting a hot dog in half shouldn't be deemed an action beat, but it's treated like one because it's the most awkward editing. You're correct. And to the point where you're just kind of like through a series of choppy things where you could have just seen a knife go through a hot dog, but maybe they were worried people would think the hot dog was a real penis. I don't know. But actually, that would have worked more if we'd seen a hot dog cut in half to understand why Pike would start going after he saw like his friend's dick
Yeah.
basically getting cut in half. But anyway, um, I also thought about like the fight scene in the cemetery, like watching her like fight the demons, the choreography of it. It all just seems so like kind of Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope with the lightsaber battle between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan, where they're just kind of standing there banging lightsabers against each other. Whereas I feel like the series evokes more of a like Phantom Menace Attack of the Clones kind of vibe, where you got CGI Yoda twirling all over the place, and you've got like Qui Young Jin. I can't remember what Liam
Something
Neeson's
like that,
character
yeah.
is. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Like like they're doing somersaults and Darth Maul and all the badness, and it looks like an action scene. I mean, and then even when Buffy fights in the it's two. There's the Rose Parade float scene where she full on actually grabs like a handful of what looks like moss and punches a vampire in the heart with it, and he just goes, oh, oh. and he doesn't get back up. So I guess we're supposed to assume that because the moss is grown like wood, it's paper or it's wood-like. So if it penetrates,
Yeah.
it's like staking him.
Well,
And
I think that the advent of the dusting in the television series like
was really
really
helpful. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Because it also sort of takes care of that nasty little issue of just like which is actually addressed in the series of just like the monsters once they're slayed that don't
Yes.
evaporate or whatever. So it's just like there's all these dead bodies, which is sort of like a joke at the end with the principal just like handing out detention slips.
Sure.
But I do remember, I think it was the one of our favorites, Earshot, from season three,
Mm.
where at the beginning, no, it wasn't Earshot. I don't, it's in season three, but
Okay.
it's at the beginning, it's all like Buffy, Xander, and Willow are having a picnic and they're attacked by a demon and then they fight it. And
Hmm.
then at the end, they're just like, oh, isn't he gonna go poof? And like, I guess we're gonna have to bury him. And they just go back to their
Right, right,
picnic.
right.
And
And doesn't but Buffy have some line about like, why can't all demons be more like vampires? Just no, just leave a slight dusty mess or
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But in this case, no, it's just bodies strewn about
yeah.
everywhere. But the fights are so clumsy. The other one that I'm thinking about is when she leaves the dance
Mhm.
and somersaults slowly, and all the vampires are standing there, like their feet are planted, but they're all kind of
Yeah.
like what not thrusting, but just kind of wavering backward and forward
Mhm.
in motion to create the illusion of like, every stand your ground, everybody. We must be ready to attack Buffy. Why we're not
Yeah.
attacking her right now, I don't know. But the director hasn't. We haven't begun the choreography yet, and even when she
Well, they're
starts
just there to
fighting
like
them.
hiss and like,
Yeah, and even while she's
yeah,
fighting them, you can see some of them are like full on just going in the background, waiting their turn to fight her.
yeah.
It's very
It's
Bruce Lee.
well, I was gonna say it's very like Adam West Batman from the
Oh
60s
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
But one thing that I noticed, and we should get back to the list of all the actors in this, but
Yeah.
the final fight against Lothos is just like that was so easy. It just like I forgot how he died in this movie because it just like I hadn't seen it for a while, but it was
Mm.
also so unmemorable that every time I see it, it's just like, well, that's all it took. I mean, it basically just treated like any other normal vampire that she went up against,
Right.
and
Yeah.
yeah, it was kind of a letdown. It's just like this is your big bad. It's making me miss Adam season
Yeah.
four.
Well, because that's another thing is okay. Well, hold on. I just wanted to read something here. People are talking about the opening victim from Urban Legend. Oh yeah, Eddie knows her name. Natalie Wood's daughter. That's Natasha Gregson Wagner. She's the one who dies in the yellow leather jacket in this one.
Yeah.
Cassandra, or
Mhm.
Cassandra. I don't remember how they pronounce
Yeah,
it.
and she's like part of the friend group too. Like we only see her once when she's just like, what is whatever they're doing for their campaign about the environment
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah. And she
and they're
asked them,
like the
okay,
ozone
what do
layer.
you guys
Yeah.
think about the ozone layer? And she's like, yeah, we got to get rid of that. Which, again, okay. I want to talk about a plus for me, a huge plus thematically that just kind of jumped out at me, and I wrote it
Yeah.
down while I was watching it. I just wrote um, the hot dog between the hot dog being split, Buffy's ass being openly thirsted after by Andy when she's like bending over to kiss, Jeffrey
Andy.
and everything. Andy, Buffy's indifference slash lukewarm reception to Jeffrey's escalation from kissing the night that they're just going to sit there and watch movies. She like looks at him like, really romantic, and she even initiates a kiss with him. And then she just keeps eating popcorn while he starts to like move in a little bit hotter and heavier. And she doesn't roll her eyes, but she just kind of does a side eye, like just kind of like, yeah, I'm not really feeling this. I'll just keep eating popcorn until, I don't know what. And then there's just a fade to black. So
Mhm.
with all of that, I just feel like they're micro examples of Buffy's traditional role as an attractive young girl in this world or in 1992 Southern California, and how something in her destiny pushes her to expect and prepare for more. Because as the movie progresses, these are the things that I like about it. The first person she really pushes back against, because even her little like, oh yeah, the ozone layer, we got to get rid of that. It's just kind of like, I'm just gonna do whatever makes things run the most smoothly. Is that what we're talking about? Sure. I don't care what I say. It's of no consequence. But then in walks Merrick, throwing knives at her head, and like making her uncomfortable. And the more interaction she has with him, the more she's becoming kind of like that Buffy Giles dynamic where because by the time she reaches the series, she's not afraid to push back. She's not afraid to speak her mind and say, you know what? This is my point of view on what's going on right now, and I'm not going to do it because I'm the one out there risking my life. What the hell are you doing? Kind of, and I'm just like, yes. So it's just like watching her come into her own, also in terms of like defining like what matters to her, like as an individual. So I don't know. I never quite articulated it to myself. I think I always felt it, but I never really thought this is about growing up.
It's like, I mean, all of the general themes that we see in the show are here, but I don't think that they don't do the work to have them come across more clearly. One specific one that like we know from the series, like especially her first interaction with Giles, when she's just like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
I just wanna like, you know, make sure I don't have last month's hair, et cetera, and so forth. And even like when she finally like confronts Joyce about it, and she's like, I wish I was like, studying or things like that. It's
Oh
like she
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
wants to be a normal girl.
yeah.
And there's the dance between her and Pike when he says
Yes.
like, you're not like other girls, and she just says, I am. But like the thing is, it's not registering in this moment that what her saying that is like that she doesn't want to do this. It's just sort of like, no, I'm cool, I'm hip, I'm like other girls, I'm.
Well, I mean, that was a line that I never liked when I was 12 and in my
Yeah.
teens when I would rewatch this movie. I never felt like I got it, and I always felt like they hit the wrong note until I became an adult and I returned to see the movie. And I remember I had the series, by that point. And I had seen, just like like here we are singing from Once More with Feeling, but there's that to be like other girls, to fit in this glittering world.
Hmm.
That is screaming it's singing to erupt out of like Buffy, like that's all I want. I do wish that I could just be your typical American teenager or whatever, but I'm not. I'm
Hmm.
the Slayer, and I have the weight of the world on my shoulders every week, and at least. And yeah, but I felt again, I just felt like the seeds were planted with that exchange because with everything the series had offered me, what I love now watching Pike offer. You're not like other girls, and it feels like it's the least authentic thing he's said to her the entire movie
Yeah.
because he even feels uncomfortable saying it. Luke Perry is so fucking good, but he says it
Hmm.
like it's what he's supposed to say because it's what guys say to girls, and she just puts her arm around like his neck or whatever and just says, "Yes, I
Yeah.
am," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you totally are." I used to think, "No, you're
Well,
special," but I'm like, "No, you're just a girl who wants things that girls want and or
yeah.
that shouldn't be
Well,
we shouldn't be surprised that a teenage girl would want to go to a dance and dance with the guy she likes, you
well, I
know?
guess that's why things didn't work out between them. But apparently, like, because uh, Luke Perry and Joss Whedon actually got along really well
Wow.
on set, and I think that he like understood what Joss's vision was for it. So Luke Perry was, I don't know how he felt about this before his death, if he like disowned the movie or anything like that,
Oh, I
but
doubt it.
I know that like with whatever the finished product was, it's like he was not happy with, what it had turned into.
Which is funny because
Um,
he's one of the funniest presences on screen, but the thing that I love about Luke Perry's performance as Pike is that he doesn't really have a lot of funny lines per se. Like you can quote him, but it's not the line that's
oh
funny.
yeah,
It's
clap.
his but it's his delivery. I wrote down like a whole series of them when she first meets Lothos. And again, there's nothing funny about this line where he pokes a stake through whoever's attacking Buffy. And he says, and now you're a coat rack. And then he just says, and he sees Lothos. He says, I know that guy. That is a bad guy. Can we go now? And then when she's kind of under Lotho's thrall, and she starts moving toward him. She's like, "Hey, hello! This is not a caring nurturer. This guy's a blood-sucking fiend from beyond the grave." And he does a little hand motion, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
"What the fuck are you doing?" And then
Um,
also, if somebody put it in the chat earlier, I don't remember who, but it was the, "Are you addressing I?" Like, I mean, again, it's not a terribly like original or funny line on paper, but the way he says it, I'm just like, "I love you. I wish you were my friend." You know?
well, he's more of like a Xander type.
I mean, I guess, but except for the
Yeah.
fact that she actually is interested in him.
Yeah. No, no, no. She wasn't
But
at
he's
first. She wasn't at
no, she
first.
wasn't.
Yeah.
But
But at the same time, like that exchange that you talk about, like him not getting it or just saying it's just like you're not like other girls. It's just like,
hmm
I don't that sounds like something that Xander would say to Buffy too. Like if he was like in
mm,
a romantic situation with her, not like understanding the
mm,
sensitivity of it, but
mm,
like even just like sort of like the wise ass
sure.
like class clown of it all.
Sure, I guess that's
Just because
fair.
we didn't go through it because there's more
Yes.
faces in there. Did you mention Stephen Root? He's the
Yeah, I was just getting
principal.
there. As Principal
Um,
Gary Murray, so funny.
Thomas Jane is
Yes, as Zeph,
the
the
mechanic.
the mechanic, the friend of
Yeah,
Pike. He has one scene, and I never noticed him until this screening. And I was looking at
yeah.
his face, going, "That's not Thomas Jane, is it?" And I looked it up. It's totally him.
Hmm.
Of Deep Blue
Um,
Sea fame. He's the
Deep
hottie in
Blue.
Deep Blue
I've
Sea.
not seen that in a long time.
Watch it again.
Seth Green.
I know.
His so there some of his scenes were cut, but he's there. I think in the end in the scene where they're all like
Yeah, and I
outside.
I cannot find him to save my life though.
Yeah, I think
I'll have to
I've
look
seen
again.
him somewhere. Yeah, he's in the crowd there.
Okay.
Um, was there anyone else?
Well, you already mentioned Ben Affleck. Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. Yeah.
Ben Affleck. And why do I feel like there was somebody
Well,
else? Let me look.
this is
Keep
very
talking.
obscure for anyone
Yes.
who's like
Oh,
a
I know.
Twin Peaks
Yes.
fan. Eric DeRay is
hmm
the biker who she like pushes down and takes his bike, and he's like you're a dyke or whatever he says
Yeah,
to her.
right.
He played Leo on Twin Peaks, just a very loathsome,
Yeah.
abusive character. And oddly enough, what's the Paul Rubens character name? Amelin.
Amelin. Yeah.
Amelin was originally supposed to be female and played by Joan Chen from Twin
Oh,
Peaks.
wow.
But she wasn't able to do it or turned it down at the last minute, so they rewrote it to be a male character, and Paul Rubens was
Oh.
cast.
Well, thank God.
Yeah.
Not that
But
I think
I feel like,
Joan Chen would have been great,
no,
but
I feel like if it was Joan Chen, it probably would have been a lot more serious. Like if she like came in and was like more of like a villainess
and see, it's
or like
again like
a vampiric vixen.
yeah, if there's anybody on Earth who knows how to straddle kind of like the grandiosity of the dark, figure, but also embrace the humor without, like spinning those two plates simultaneously without
Mhm.
ever, toppling the other, I feel like Paul Rubens is it. And also, I
Yeah.
watched his documentary on HBO Max, and he spoke about his look in this movie and how it was a direct copy because he had just followed this movie had followed the controversy of his discovery in an adult theater, and he wanted to look like his mugshot just to show people I'm not
Mhm.
afraid of this. You can't control me. I'm not going to try to outrun it and convince you that it never happened. I'm going to look exactly like the mugshot, and I'm going to make you laugh, and then we're going to move on. And I
Yeah.
was like, fuck yeah, man.
And he also did Batman Returns this year, playing
Yes.
Oswald Cobblepot's father.
Father.
Yeah.
Yes.
We mentioned this before we were recording, but the four out of the five uh, principal cast members here are now deceased.
Yeah.
So yeah, Donald Sutherland, Paul Rubens, Rutger Hauer, and Luke Perry.
hmm
Was the Donald Sutherland? That was pretty recent.
I
It's
don't
maybe like
remember
a few
exactly.
years ago. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I,
last year, 2024.
wow,
Yeah.
wow. Oh, because we're also going down the list, there's one more person who I noticed again for the first time, I
Yeah.
think. If I noticed him before, I didn't remember at all. But it was one of those moments where someone's on screen and I'm doing a double take, going like, wait. It was the bloody student, the first one to kind of like get fed on by the vampires, who shuts the doors behind him and it's like, hey guys, hey, there's some real weird people out there, or something like that. And then
Yeah.
he looks at his hand and he's bleeding from the neck. He's like, ah! That's Ricky Dean Logan from Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. He plays Carlos, the deaf guy, the deaf
Oh.
kid. Yeah.
Of course you would notice, yeah.
Yeah,
Anytime
of
you guys
course, I would
might run
notice
down the street, yeah.
that. So, so love that. But and I thought he absolutely committed as well.
Mhm.
Let me see. Did I miss anybody? I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Um,
Candy
yeah, I don't think I
Clark
did.
as Buffy's mom, aka Joyce Summers.
Yeah,
She,
I don't think
she's
she's
her
Joyce
name
in
is like
this.
listed. Well, like when it gets the end credits, like her name is like just like listed there by itself, and then like the rest of the cast list came up. So I wasn't sure if
Oh,
that
okay.
like maybe she was a more high profile.
A lot of the people
Um,
who we've mentioned were uncredited, so they were
yeah,
just doing favors, I guess, for
but
yeah.
yeah, no, this is totally. I mean, I still imagine that this is Joyce and Hank Summers that we see, and it's
In
like
their
this is.
cloud.
Yeah, I mean, they're clearly like more um how would you describe that? Because they're not really fighting. Like I guess like the
No.
version that we saw in like the flashback for I think it was like the season two finale
Yeah.
where they're just like arguing because Buffy's out late and getting into
Mhm.
fights or whatever. And here it's like Buffy strolls in. She's like, "Do you have any idea what time it is?" She's like 10. I'm like, "Oh, we're late. I knew it. Like
Yeah,
we
oh, I
gotta
knew
we
this
gotta
watch was,
go. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah."
So they're just completely checked out. That was another thing I
Yeah.
wondered, like when I went into the series, I remember I was just kind of like, oh, all I remember about her parents was that her father was basically non-existent. That carries
Yeah.
over. And her
Yeah.
mother was just always so preoccupied because, oh, doesn't he even say, she calls it Jeff, her boyfriend, in the beginning
Bobby,
by an,
yeah.
yeah, and he's like, and he just answers, and then he says to her, to Buffy, it's like, she thinks my name is Bobby. She's like, it's possible she thinks my name is Bobby. And I'm like, okay, so
Bobby the
checked
Vampire
out.
Slayer.
And I
Yeah.
think they even make at some point, I don't remember what episode, but at some point, pretty early in the series, that she makes an allusion to like, do you remember what life was like, in LA when, we barely talked and we barely had any kind of relationship, and I'm just glad we have one now, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But okay. Oh, but okay. We started to move into this direction, and I want to talk about my other crucial issue with this movie that I think hurts it. And it's not at all Rutger Hauer's fault. I am a Rutger Hauer fan. If I knew more about him, I'd be a stan. But he means a great
Mhm.
deal to me. He was in my first Michelle Pfeiffer movie ever, Lady Hawk, where he played her love interest, where by day he's a man and by night he's a wolf, and by day
Mhm.
she's a hawk and by night she's a lady. And so you always see either a lady walking around at night with a wolf, or you see him riding his horse with a hawk like on his arm, and it's medieval and they have to like break the curse, and it's so beautiful. Anyway, so I was introduced to him as a hero, found out as I grew older and started seeing like Blade Runner and other movies where he played villains. That's kind of what he did. And so it was no surprise by that time to see him in Buffy and just be kind of like, oh, there's Navarre. He was Navarre in Lady Hawk, but he'll always be
Mhm.
Navarre to me. But I was just like, oh, Navarre's playing the, Lothos, the spooky, ooky, vampire. And I don't
Mhm.
think anything registered with me in terms of like how badly this character, I think, is executed. Not in performance, but just in presentation. Because the first time
Mhm.
we see him in his full form, he is full on just like hanging by wires, obviously. And he's got the
A
traditional
lot of
kind of like
levitating in the
yeah,
movie.
yeah, got like the
Yeah.
full on like Count Dracula, like white lapel, black suit with the cape with the sticks that like makes the
Mhm.
cape fan out, and just levitates slowly down and everything like that. But it's so cheesy. It looks like it doesn't even look like Bela Lugosi Dracula in the
Mhm.
1930s. It looks like kind of like Bela Lugosi and Abbott in a Abbott and Costello movie in the 50s, you know?
But I do think because I agree, but there's
Yeah,
one scene in particular, and it's like her nightmare scene where she's,
right.
everything's like really like coolly lit, like it's all like blue, and she's standing in front of like her vanity and she's putting the
The
red
red
ribbon on, and then
ribbon.
she walks
Yeah.
over to her bed and she literally just like lays down on him, and
Right.
he's like takes the teddy bear or whatever, and it's like
Yeah.
it's such a creepy moment. If there was more
Hmm.
of that with the character.
100%. Like I wish they could have like moved in on the darkness a bit more. But again, like I wasn't when I first saw the movie, I wasn't expecting that level of darkness. I was just kind of like I saw the nightmare and I was just kind of like, ooh, that feels invasive. Whereas then you
Yeah,
think about like some of the things Buffy had to face off with in her season finales,
yeah,
of the series. You're like, well, we go dark sometimes. We go way dark.
yeah.
And I think Rutger Hauer is, absolute would have absolutely been capable of doing that. I think because that was another thing I noticed. Something about the flashbacks, like those dreams that she was having,
Mhm.
the production value of them, like they were kind of kitschy, but they did kind of evoke the flashbacks that you would see on the Buffy or Angel series because those, are kind of obviously on sound stages and
Yeah.
they work well enough, but they're not like period, with a capital P. Um, and so that I could embrace, but then I think the most dissonance I noticed was in everything the way the vampires at large were kind of handled because um, there seemed to be a lot of like I don't know like urban and dare like sometimes even racial coding like some of them have like bandanas on and some of them look like like I don't know like it just kind of struck a chord with me. I was just kind of like, huh, I don't remember a lot of this. I just remember a lot of like crushed velvet on the series, and I'm glad they leaned in that direction, that kind of hot topic you know
Yeah.
direct in October direction, as opposed to like, well, let's just get them in dark clothes and make them look kind of punky, I mean, um, but even again, like we talked about like the choreography and how, silly it is, and even how anticlimactic the defeat of Lothos is. I mean, literally, she just kind of it's kind of like a cheap version of Nightmare on Elm Street, where all she has to do is kind of turn her back on him. Because this is the thing, I love the work that both of them are doing, even the way he's just
Yeah.
kind of hovering behind her shoulder and stuff, and you can see his hand going for her shoulder and trying to like get his thrall back, and
Yeah.
he can't eclipse her anymore. She's back,
Yeah.
but I don't understand why. She's just like, oh, Merrick was right. The music stopped, and I'm like, but why? I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Well, I
And
think
then you
it's
just
similar
stake him, and it's
to,
done.
I mean, it's not unlike the defeat of the Master, where, she confronts him on the rooftop of the library, and
Uh-huh.
he's starting to do the thrall thing again, and she just sort of looks up at him and says, "You have fruit punch mouth."
Yeah,
And he's
yeah,
like, "Huh?"
yes.
Yeah. So it's
But even
yeah,
that's
it's not a
funny.
yeah. I mean, they did it better there, but I mean, like there's moments here, like when she takes out the cross
Yeah,
and she says, "I have something the other girls did," and he's like, "Ugh, your puny faith." No,
yeah.
my keen fashion
Fashion sense.
sense.
But see, that would have been
Yeah.
cool if that could have been like the last thing that happened, and if the fire would have like burned
Yes.
him to a crisp,
Yeah.
like because he doesn't know hairspray, he doesn't
Yeah.
know, like that kind of thing. That would have been
Oh,
interesting. But the fact
vampires
that
know hairspray. Come on.
well, the fact that all the flames do is just kind of like wash
Oh,
over
it's
his head and everything like that.
some
I'm
bad
just like,
effects. Yeah.
because also I'm like, well, there's a way to do that to make up the stakes, to make it look like, oh, you
Yeah.
can't burn him, so that's out. Try taking his head
Yeah.
off. Like, let's try as many modes as we can as possible to take this guy out. Push him into a vat of holy water. Show him
Well, I
his
mean,
reflection.
it would have
Like whatever.
been, yeah, I agree. It would have, if that was the thing, if
Yeah,
that was like the final like fuck you moment,
yeah,
and had been his defeat, that would have been memorable. It would have been iconic rather than just sort of an opportunity for her to like it because it doesn't make sense in the way that it's edited as it is, because she's left the dance to go fight him,
yeah.
and she does this and then she runs away and goes back to the dance, and then he follows her in there. It's like I thought she was going out there to remove any threat of him being at the dance.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just like the whole thing wasn't staged very well, and I think that you're like there aren't really any stakes in this movie. I mean, like there are stakes, like literal stakes, but there are no figurative stakes for for the characters of what are going on. And I think that there were opportunities that, I would be interested. I wonder if Joss Whedon's original script is online. Like it's got to
Oh,
be.
I feel like it
Yeah.
must have been for years and years, but and I'm sure he would have been first in line to post it. But
Also, I just wanted to just
yeah.
to address the chat here. Going back to the fact that uh, Buffy wasn't sure if maybe her mom thought that her name was Bobby too. Amethyst Frost says Buffy from Trafalgar Square.
Because she's a
Just
Bobby.
A Bobby from Trafalgar Square. Just a little callback to our American
Oh,
Werewolf
and Chris
days.
is asking a pertinent question. How do you feel about them eliminating the idea of her period warning and the past Slayers were doppelgangers?
Well, that was
Um,
just weird in the movie here.
well, I'm number one really glad that they dodged the bullet because
Yeah.
they asked her like, "Do you ever have dreams?" And she says about being, like a peasant girl or being a slave, and she goes, "I was a slave," and I'm like, "Oh, they knew," and she was like a slave in America, so I'm like, "Oh, they knew better than to, you know, go that route."
Mhm.
Um, but the fact that also like the birthmark thing, um,
That big
it's
hairy
well,
mole,
the
yeah.
thing is like again. There's something about the execution of that moment. The fact that he says, "You bear the mark, spots, yes, spots. You bear the mark of the man." She's like, "What? That old hairy mole? I had that taken away." It's like, well, then why was he pointing at it and like moving towards her, like he saw it on her chest or whatever? But
Yeah.
also, is that a way of him just kind of like letting her know, "I know you had the spot. How would I know that?" But again, it doesn't
Mhm.
really play that way, and it's not their performances. There's something about the way it flows that it's just like this could happen more naturally and just more easily. You've got great actors, just let them do the thing. But I also
Mhm.
think I like the line, "Great, my secret weapon is PMS." I'm glad that they took it out though of the series because it kind of feels like I don't know, like just you know what? Now I don't know how I feel about it because I'm thinking about we learn a lot about the origins of the Slayer, about like who it
Mhm.
was who decided that the Slayer was going to be a teenage girl every time, and that they were going to endow her with this darkness lined with, light.
Yeah.
So she could, but also so she could sacrifice herself because in their eyes, these were usually councils of men who saw young girls as expendable, and they tortured the first Slayer, and to the point where she didn't even know what was happening to her, and then they just threw her out there and kind of threw her to the wolves essentially. But so I mean, in terms of I guess like the inherent feminism of that, the fact that like the thing one of the another inherently kind of biologically female thing about like having menstrual cramps can be like a warning sign about the darkness that's near you. I could see men being like, yeah, yeah, give her that. So maybe
Well,
I do like it.
I
Maybe I
think,
do.
yeah. I mean, but in a way, it's also sort of, uh, it's an empowering thing for her. So she's taking something that, is widely considered like it's just like a huge inconvenience
Right.
of something that like that women would have to deal with, and being like,
Yeah.
no, I'm actually going to embrace this PMS, as it were, and use
Yeah.
that as my weapon because like the way that they set it up here is almost like Peter Parker and his spider
Spidey
senses.
sense. Yeah.
Because like he throws the knife at her and like she just catches it.
Yeah.
That was another thing that kind of reminded me of the season two finale when Angel with the sword is just like, what's left? Me. And then pushes
Yes.
the sword back on him. Um,
100%. But
yeah.
but another thing that oh, because another thing, just for my little nerd heart, just if we're going to close the book on this particular topic, there
Sure.
is something that I liked. Just now, I'm realizing, like as I watched the movie, when like she falls on top of Pike and they have their little exchange or whatever, and then she's like, "Let's go find Merrick," and then they get up and they're just walking around, and Christy Swanson has her hand like on her waist as though to imply because there's nothing in the script to let us know, so she gives us a visual cue of just kind of like I can tell something's here because I'm getting that cramp in my abdomen again, and just around the corner is Lothos and Amelin, like waiting for her. Did they
Mhm.
ever say Amelin's name in the movie? Because I didn't hear it once. I had to look. on
I
IMDb.
think it, no, I think I do recall it being said.
Okay, okay, because
Yeah.
as many times as I've seen this movie, it was not said in a predominant enough way for it to stick with me.
What's
I,
his line when he like when he loses the arm? He's like, kill him a lot.
yeah, you ruined my new jacket. Kill him a lot. Perfect delivery.
I don't know if this is true because we've seen this before on IMDb trivia where they're just saying like this person was originally set to play the role or this person auditioned, but
Oh,
I think it was we had seen that in Hannibal or whatever where it was like Denise
yes.
Richards was like up for
No,
the
no.
part
For
of Clarice
Clarice,
Star,
no,
but
no.
uh, according to this, Alyssa Milano was originally set to play Buffy.
I mean, I guess I could see it. She was age appropriate and she was enough of a celebrity, certainly,
Yeah.
with Who's the Boss and everything at that point.
I
But
noticed that in Buffy's locker, and this obviously is years before the show came out, but there was like something
mm.
like Charmed. There's like a whole thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Hmm. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there was one other thing that was introduced in this that I feel was kind of abandoned for the series, but I don't know. I kind of it makes me glad for the separation between these
Right.
two. The fact that they're, this is like a soul prequel, but not, but vaguely, vaguely.
Yeah.
I like the fact though, just watching Donald Sutherland in his delivery as Merrick about like he's telling Buffy like I'm born into every generation with the knowledge that it's my job to protect and educate the Slayer and blah 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 blah, and I do that until I die and then I'm cycle back and I'm born again. She's like, and then what happens when you're done and when the evil's all doused out? It's like, oh, then I suppose I shall go to heaven. And and I'm listening to him talk about like how he, you know, keeps coming back and just keeps training these girls, and I'm like, oh, you're like my Mary Poppins. You just kind of like fly in, you give them what they need, and then once it's done, you
Yeah.
check out and you go on to the next one. And I thought that was
Well,
actually kind of charming, and the fact that she means something to him. She's his Jane
yeah.
and Michael in this one, because he says,
Jane and
"Not
Michael
this one."
Mancini.
No, the kids, the children in the Mary
Oh,
Poppins book.
um,
Jane and Michael Banks, not Jane and Michael
I'm more familiar with
Mancini.
the Melrose.
How did I not know you were gonna go there? But because no, because there was something
Well,
about the bond between them that kind of melts my
well, I
heart.
mean, I prefer what they've done with the series, and just in
Of
terms of the
course, of
Watchers,
course.
because like that sort of makes it seem like Merrick or like the Watcher is like a superpower in and of himself, of just like being
Hmm.
resurrected, which to me is like, well, why would they do that? It just makes more sense that if to have someone come in and train them over and be
Yeah,
mortal.
no, and
I mean,
I
they're all
mean,
mortal, but like without superpowers.
yeah, no, and I think also the series really capitalized on when we find out about Slayer's past and whatnot,
Hmm.
on like, well, where might they live? Where might what period might they be in? How might they
Yeah.
be adorned? And everything like that.
Would
But
would have been like
that,
interesting if in the series if there was ever like a moment where we found out that Giles had a like a history with Merrick or like knew
mhm.
Merrick if they were like part of the council
Oh,
together.
well, there's a lot of little things I would have loved to have
Because
seen
we
sprinkled
do we
in the
do see
series.
Merrick in the series like
Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
briefly.
Right,
Um, she thinks that he's the security from the the mall when
right.
she stole the lipstick or something. Yeah. That was the thing I noticed, like just like Buffy's the way that she interacts with Merrick here, just
Yeah.
like compared to Giles, and just sort of like this is the Watcher, because she's like very like on board in a
Hmm.
way, like when you consider the context, it's like this like strange, creepy kind of looking man who's just sort of like hovering around
Yeah.
a high school, and she's just sort of like, am I in trouble? Like she's not really like thinking about the fact that like,
Right.
do you even belong here? Like I think I
Right.
need to like report you or something. Like he's clearly like, I guess in this universe, or he might know that Buffy might not take it seriously, because I would feel that most people that would be in Merrick's shoes would have a little bit more mindfulness to like, okay, you've got to like have a little more tact about
Aw,
doing this, like in the way that like Giles maybe had a little bit more tact when he was
sure.
first, introducing himself to Buffy.
I mean, they were both kind of like fish out of water in terms of like the way they the sheer percentage of the population at mass that they could connect with at any given moment. But that's what makes both of them endearing to me.
The Watcher Council just didn't train them on that
No,
part of it.
they
Yeah.
don't have a lot of social cues. Like
No.
The Buffys usually loosen them up. But
Yeah.
but I do have to say, like, I see what you're saying, but the thing is, what I like about it in both Buffy and Merrick in this movie is I actually like her. It's innocence, but it's also kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a lack of awareness. Like I shouldn't even should I like
Naivete.
yeah, maybe naivete, maybe
Mhm.
or maybe even like ignorance about just kind of like, yeah, there's a strange man here. Am I in trouble? Like that's usually why adults talk to me, kind of thing. Like I mean, almost like she's choosing to just kind of, never believe that anything bad could happen to her,
Yeah.
which, 3 weeks later we see is completely
Yeah.
turned around. It's a 180-degree turn because now she knows the risk involved with everything, and it's gotten to the point where all of that status shit she was playing with her friends against like Pike and Benny, all of a sudden when she saves Pike's life, it's like she's a different person, but it's almost like she sees him and treats him as a different person up until
Yeah.
that point, to the point where there's no point in like putting him down or this kind of like wordplay that they want to do or anything like that. Like
Yeah.
she would never 3 weeks later tell him a pike is a fish when she hears his name. I love the fact that she's full on disclosing when she invites him into her house and everything, especially when she's got that ice pack, and she's just kind of like, you know what it's like when everything in her life is just suddenly different, and it's the best way she can articulate what she's going through. And I love that Pike, again, says probably in the most authentic way, I know what it's like, in a way that
Mhm.
resonates with her. It just kind of lets you know, okay, these two people are going to fight on the same team. And but anyway, I like her in his human quality. I also like his lack of self-awareness as well, because he doesn't realize I'm a strange man, in a long coat, crossing onto high school grounds and speaking in a room alone with a teenage girl who does not know me, and
And then a
I'm
locker room.
yeah, and then a locker room.
A naked place.
This is a naked place, and and it's just it's there is nothing but the mission. It's all about
And
just kind of
stroking
like,
his like
yes,
mustache
his
too. Like
mustache.
what
I love Donald
I was
Sutherland
like
so much.
imagine like just an adult walked into the locker room in that moment of just like one of the teachers or something, and like what is going on here? Um
There is again, they had another exchange that I thought was like very kind of reminiscent of like where Buffy goes, where he just says,
yeah.
none, well, because she wants to go. I can't remember if it was to the dance yet or to something else. She wants to do some. Oh, she wanted to go to the game. That's what it was,
Mhm.
and cheerlead. And he tells her, "No, you must continue your training." And he says, "None of the other girls gave me this much trouble." And she goes, "And where are they now? Hello." Just that kind of
Yeah.
attitude.
Did she not like that? Another thing I noticed with Buffy is like she encounters all these people, like they're in Los Angeles, and
Yeah.
all these recurring characters because she meets Merrick at the beginning when he runs up to the elevator. Excuse much, rude or anything.
Right.
But she's just like she doesn't see him. I'm like, oh, you're that like dude that tries
Yeah.
to get on the elevator. But I just realized another allusion
Oh yeah.
to the series is the season one finale because she's got that white dress on and then Angel's
Oh.
leather jacket over top of it.
Okay, I do take issue with that in this movie though, because it's almost like, "Hey Buffy," or no, he says, "Hey Buff," I think, as she's walking away. It's like,
Fuck.
hey, and it's as
Hey
if,
B.
yeah, and if we were gonna like dialogue everything that's transpiring in that particular moment, I always imagined it would play out like, "Hey Buff, oh, I tore your dress. Here, take my jacket. It'll constrict your movement." Because when she puts it on, I'm just kind of like, your arms. You're not. I mean, I guess it's maybe it's protect, give her a
It's
layer so they
armor.
don't bite her arms. Like, yeah, I guess. But
Yeah.
is leather really gonna? Well, I guess their teeth aren't that. I don't know.
There's an entire 7 season run where she's fighting vampires in leather pants and Faith is in leather pants and this was never been brought up before, so I don't think it's fair that we
Well, because they
apply
move
it.
faster.
Yeah.
I don't worry about them being vulnerable on the series because they move faster. I'm like, yeah, kick some butt, ha, hoo, ha, ha, hee, ha, But Oh, that was, you know what? I lied. I do have one other like really, really big kind of issue
Uh-oh.
toward the end of the movie, and it's after Merrick dies, and it's the argument that she has with Pike. It feels very poorly written, very, very economically written in a bad way, because it's all about Buffy's inner conflict over Merrick's death and her justification of like abandoning her role as a slayer. It all just feels really contrived. Like, yeah, Merrick died and it's my fault. So I'm going to the dance. And I'm like, okay, there's a way to, if we just got one more, whoever was writing that scene, if somebody just gave it one more try to like think about what's being communicated and why, and just maybe put it a little bit more on Front Street, like, he died, I'm bad at this, I never should have even tried to be a slayer, taking people's lives into my hands is only going to get them killed. So I'm not even, so you know what? I'm not even going to try. Deal with that. Maybe I'm not the person you believed in. Maybe I'm not. Who instead he's like, you're the guy. You're the chosen guy. And she goes, yeah, I'm the chosen one. Big deal. I'm like, what?
Oh, I know there's a lot of pronoun people that are going to have a problem with that line.
Oh, I like chosen guy.
The chosen guy. Um, oh, well, the thing is, like with that is, they're having that fight, if you can consider it a fight,
I
and they walk
guess.
past the little photo booth, and
Yeah.
that's where little David
Oh,
Arquette pops his head out.
yeah.
And the photos,
Buffy.
yeah, like Buffy, but and they find out that she's the Slayer, but it's just like, didn't they already know at this point?
No, only Sasha
No,
Jensen knew, and then she staked him.
but she'd already confronted Lothos. Like he saw her.
Oh, that's true.
So I feel like there was, and like something
I
got
didn't think
lost
about
in
that. You're
translation here. Because yeah,
right.
there's like it just felt like
Oh my God.
a little extra thing that's just like that wasn't necessary.
Oh, here I thought it was like so smart with her chasing Sasha Jensen out of what's his name? Grueller?
The ruler.
Ferris Grueller. But he's in there all
He had some
vamped
funny
up.
lines too.
Oh my God, every line of his is like
Yeah.
kind of like memorable but annoying to me. Just kind of like a ha ha. Did we get an ouchie? It's just like, no, remember, you're my friend. And now I'm a god. And I'm just like,
Okay,
ew.
okay. You keep doing this thing where you'll do a voice and you'll sort of like pass over into the Mason Verger
And
dialect.
now I'm a god. But oh god. Does he have any other lines that I should know? Those are all the most
This is
memorable
like
ones
Go
for me.
Team or something.
Oh yeah, go team. But she, but okay. But here I thought they were being so mindful about just like, reasons she's chasing. It's just like, he knows who I am. Like, I can't, I disrupted the game. Oh, but you know what? I gotta say, I fucking love just, it's stupid because it is a stupid move because it does
Mhm.
completely disclose who she is, what she does to like everybody for kind of no reason because he hasn't hurt anybody. He hasn't even really implied that he's going to. He's just kind of fucking up the game. So
Yeah.
when she trips him, it's, but that said, within the pocket of that, all those mistakes
Hmm.
of that scene, I just love watching the expression on her face in kind of like the standoff when they're both kind of like
Yeah.
spider crawling on the ground
She's
toward
got
each
like
other and
the
just,
Black Widow pose.
yeah. And she's
Well,
just kind
that
of, but she's looking at him like with this unflinching confidence, just kind of like, I got this. And then he runs away.
well
It's like, he knows who I am.
that just feels very reminiscent of the series again in just sort of the way that Buffy will like people can't fuck with her. Like
Yeah.
there's the one episode, I think it was season two, when they're all being taught like self-defense.
Hmm.
And the one dude who turns out to be gay, I think it was the werewolf episode where we find out that Oz is the werewolf.
Oh,
And
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Willow's like, remember, you're just supposed to be a meek girly girl. Like you can't use your powers in public. And the guy, so she's like, like trying to like flip him over, and then he like
Yeah.
he slaps her ass, and she just like, all right, you asked
Mm.
for it now.
Yes.
So it's like by the time you get to the end of season three with the prom, the entire school knows and they acknowledge it, but it's just like they've been seeing it because she hasn't exactly been covert about it.
Yeah.
So that's why I just like that makes sense to me that she would totally go out there and cause trouble because she was, deemed a troublemaker by like the principal, like Principal Snyder and all that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, this is just the start of it.
So maybe within the confines of this movie, I can look at that moment as just kind of like, oops, I fucked up. Now I have to go fix it. Again,
Yeah.
if it would have been articulated a little bit more like that. But again, that's an action scene. I mean, justifiably, like, they're shooting
Yeah.
people, moving around, doing a great deal, interacting with each other. But
Yeah.
I also have to say, like, as far as like Paul Rubens as Amelin, like, I just love everything about his final standoff with Buffy because when he's just a voice just going like, we're eternal, Buffy, you're nothing, who are you to stand against him, and then finally caps it with, admit it, Buffy, aren't there times when you just feel less than fresh? I can't. And then of course I love the thing where it's just like, we're eternal, we can do anything, Buffy, and she goes, oh yeah, clap. I mean, that's witty
Oh,
as.
that was her laugh. For some reason, I thought that was Pike's, but
No,
yeah,
that was her
yeah,
because he was missing the arm by that point, and I was just kind
yeah.
of like, okay, that's a Buffy line. That could make it into the series
Very much.
eventually.
That's a pun.
Yeah.
Um, Apparently, Drew Barrymore auditioned for Buffy,
Really?
and she like said like this is something that she claimed as well. She admitted to Sarah Michelle Gellar
Huh.
on some talk show. Yeah,
I wonder why she didn't get it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they were too worried about her. I know she was going through a lot at that
in
particular,
'92. Yeah,
that bridge between child actress and young,
yeah.
just woman actress, and just woman
Hmm.
in general. So I don't know. Maybe they were worried about her
Well, she would have
reliability or something.
been, yeah, I mean, she was born in '75, so she would have been like, how old is this? Like
Like late teens?
16?
Yeah,
6, yeah.
mid late teens,
16,
something like
17.
that.
Okay, yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
so that
sense.
was around the time where she was really, as is
Yeah.
often the case with child stars, they start
Hmm.
in that border between, or crossing that border from
Yeah.
childhood into adulthood in that gray area, and a lot of fucked up shit usually
Yeah.
ends up happening to them.
Well, she ended up doing Scream,
Yes,
so
she did. She did a
it's yeah,
lot. She
yeah.
just breathed in ever after. But I think she would have been a great Buffy though. I would have loved to have seen. I mean, if anybody can invest heart.
Can you do a Drew voice?
Oh shit. Let me find another. You broke up with my machine. I can't really do one. Wait, he's big and
It's
he
sort of
plays
like
football.
no, it's kind of like I'm just thinking it's almost like out of the side of her mouth, like when she
Yeah.
speaks.
Oh, kind of like when Anne Hathaway does an impression of Katie Holmes.
I don't know.
Oh, you never saw that on Saturday Night Live? If I ever
No.
get that reel again, I should
Yeah.
send it to you because it's fucking hilarious. But yeah, something because I remember somebody did it and just completely nailed it. I think who was it? Who just there was a slight lisp and it was like talking out of the side of your mouth. I feel like it was Kristen Wiig on SNL did a really killer Drew Barrymore, and that's where. Okay, let me see if I can
Yeah.
find any other lines for her. It's just like, "Hey, babe, want to get some real power between your legs?" Yeah, I do. Or because that's another thing she says that felt like a Heather kind of like tip of the hat. She literally asks someone, "What's your damage?" But not like that. She does it like
Yeah.
she's like, "What's your damage?" But all that vocal fry, all that
Hmm.
West Coast vocal fry. Oh, I love that you also mentioned. Sorry, this is a ways away, but we were talking about you got like vibes of Xander from Pike. What I
Hmm.
actually got, just in terms of I don't know, I don't know if it's chemistry or whatever, but just something about the playful nature between the two of them. I was actually getting kind of like softcore Spike vibes, actually, like maybe a bridge between William the Bloody and Spike, or well, not William the Bloody, but
Oh.
William, like young William, and then William the Bloody Spike. I don't know. There was something about like his kind of smart alecky ways in the beginning where I was just kind of like, oh, if he got turned into a vampire, I bet Pike is just one S away from Spike. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's Pike with the S.
Yes, he is. But
Yeah. Hmm.
do I have any other things here? Oh, also just in terms of the, I thought there was an interesting parallel. I don't even know if it was conscious, but I guess of just like here we watch Buffy kind of like learn the value of life because literally people are disappearing and then bodies start popping up just as she's starting to like enter her slayerdom, but nobody
Hmm.
seems to be really taking it seriously once these bodies are discovered, until Natasha Gregson Wagner, Cassandra's body is found. This is way late in the game, and we see her three friends all sitting there lamenting, like, she wore my jacket. Oh my God, the yellow leather one. Oh my God, you must feel so terrible. And she's just trailing behind them, like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. Well,
Later on,
this
yeah, yeah,
whole
yeah.
like storyline with this yellow jacket, I feel like there was more filmed or something, and we just didn't see it because there's all this exposition. It's like, oh yeah, don't tell Kimberly that
Oh,
I let Cassandra borrow the jacket. Like
yeah.
so she already lent it to her, and then she lent it to her. It's just like there was more information that we didn't need. It would have made more sense if Cassandra was the friend who like who like got the
Oh.
jacket, or it was Kimberly who was the one that was uh like bitten and turned by Lothos. Like it just felt like you're doing too much. You're adding too many characters for all of these like things, and like, oh, you gave your jacket to this person, and they gave their jacket to that person.
I mean, perhaps, but I mean, what I hooked into, particularly with my 12-year-old brain when I first saw this, I remember thinking, um, the whole section where, first of all, she admires the yellow jacket, like sitting there in the
Yeah.
window, and turns to her friends to like kind of like get some validation about it. And
Hmm.
Kimberly's the first one to go like, "Oh my God, it's so 5 minutes ago," and they're like, "Yeah, 5 minutes ago," whatever, as we're walking away, and she's
Yeah.
just kind of, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's her Stephanie Zanoni moment." Like in the beginning of Grease 2, when Michelle Pfeiffer is like walking with her pants, and the nerdy girl turns to her and says, "Nice pants." And she goes back to her locker because someone, even a nerd, telling her, "Nice pants." It's like, well, now I got to put a skirt on because I probably look like a dork or a tomboy or something like that. Anyway, Grease 2 apologists like me will know what I'm talking about. But anyway, but I also
Yeah.
thought like, I don't know,
Well,
there was something in the social stacking of it. I love that Kimberly shows up wearing it. And the first thing she does, smile with a smile across her face, and Hilary Swank is playing it this way. It's just like,
mhm.
what? And it's like, you know exactly what you did. You're being a
Yeah,
mean
it's
girl.
retro. Um, this is, and you bring up another point. Well, you're reminding me of another point of just
Oh
sort of
yeah.
like the dynamics of this friend group, because the impression
Mm,
that the film would be giving us is that Buffy is the leader of this group.
right.
She is like the meanest girl. I mean, not that like Buffy is a mean girl, but she's uh the Blair Waldorf or the Serena Vanderwoods, whatever. And it's like because she's the one that's like front and center when they're
Yeah.
walking through the mall. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
let's go to a movie. She's making the plans for what
Mm-hmm.
they're going to do.
Bogus corn.
She's the one who's like got the boyfriend who's like driving by to meet them there. Like the other girls are the hanger-oners. So it just feels weird that she's seeking approval from the other girls. Like that's a thing that they added in that I feel like I would have rather they didn't
Hmm.
do that. And instead, as the movie progresses, we see that they're sort of like noticing the cracks in Buffy. And that's where like a Kimberly or whatever can like step in and be like, well, I'm taking over now of this
Right.
group.
Yeah.
Rather than like sort of like establishing earlier on that Buffy has some sort of like insecurity amongst her minions where Kimberly can just be like, that jacket is so like 5 minutes ago, that she'd be like, oh, I don't want to get that now. Because
Well, I can.
Cordelia would never. If Harmony, Harmony was criticizing something that Cordelia liked,
But
Cordelia
there,
would ban her from her group.
but I can't even remember if it happens. I don't think it's in season one. I think it's in season two. Like
Hmm.
after, I think it's after Cordelia. And sorry about the series talk if anybody's not familiar with the
No, we
series,
should
but
be talking about the series.
but after, I'll just try not to speak in spoilers. I'll just say like
Yeah,
after Cordelia breaks up with someone who she ordinarily would not have been seeing,
yeah.
or is broken up with, whatever. Um, she tries to go back to her friends, and they've already outgrown her. And Harmony is actually kind of like the
Yeah.
ace, the queen, who's just kind of like you. And don't they even like kind of like entertain the notion for a while, just to kind of like give her some breadcrumbs to like get her in, and then just humiliate her, just eviscerate her.
No, they like try to uh, introduce her to Jonathan, or
Oh
just
right,
here,
yeah, yeah. Well,
here's someone
that's
for you.
social
But
evisceration.
yeah, but the thing is, like, that's season three. So there's
Oh,
already
okay.
been like the transgressions. Like that's what I'm saying is like Harmony and the Harmettes, formerly the Cordettes, would have seen the cracks and just been like, Cordelia is not right to be, it's like she's not fit to be the leader of this group,
Mm,
which is like clearly what they're trying to establish here. All I'm saying is that I feel like whatever that interaction was earlier on with Kimberly and how they sort of like framed that, I just feel like it was counterintuitive to what would have
mm,
been a cleaner way to express sort of like the social dynamics and sort of Buffy's downfall and like moving
mm,
more towards her chosen path and away from like
okay.
the friend group.
I mean, they do intercut like a lot of things that don't necessarily indicate like a clear degradation of her social status because while she's beginning her training, like she does, there is something that's actually kind of like heartwarming to me when she's walking with Jeff in like what seems to be a happy moment with their friends in school, and she's kind of like all over him, and then she has to go, and I guess we're led to believe to go train, but then she
Yeah.
just runs right back into the frame and just kind of straddles him, like jumps on
This
him.
that was like the scene that we see in all the, it's like the jawbreaker, the girls walking down the hall, or in the craft where they're all like walking down
Right,
the
right, right,
quad or
right.
whatever. And
In all their glory.
Feruza Balk is like blows a kiss into the air or whatever it is she does.
Right. So but I mean, so it's weird because because I mean there is some, but I mean I guess I like the vagary at times. Like there's something I like
Mhm.
about like the fact that there's clearly a distance, and she's also clearly kind of like developing a distaste for, the level of conversations she's having with them. To go back to the this happens to be the dance scene where she asks them what language are you speaking and everything. She's trying to talk about something really, really serious with them, and they're just like, "You're oh my God, you're dating a guy? Are you cheating? Does Jeff
Yeah.
know?" And she's kind of like, "No, he's not. He's old. He's like 50." Like, ew! Oh my God, 50? And it's like his name is Pike. Oh my God, that's the guy. He doesn't look that day. I mean, they're just so brain dead, and I'm like, okay, I would have just left. I wouldn't even like tell them like this is pointless. I would just tell myself this is pointless and just wash my hands and
Mhm.
walk away. But but I isolate. That's what I do.
Yeah.
But
She was also
um,
like dribbling the basketball too, right?
right,
She would pick
right.
up a ball. So it's just like giving me flashbacks of Christy Swanson in was it Deadly Friend?
Oh, Deadly Friend, yeah, Wes
Where
Craven's
she where
movie.
she throws the
Oh,
basketball into
I
what's her
wonder if
face's.
that's
Yeah.
intentional. Oh my
That's what I was
God.
thinking, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Like a
Yeah.
little Easter egg. But also I love the fact that she's just
What's the
like,
actress's name from that movie?
oh
The
shit,
one
you're
from the
gonna
Goonies.
fuck.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Oh, sorry.
But no, but I do like that it's ambiguous enough that she can still go to the dance and expect to I almost called him Bobby. Still expect to like
Anne
dance
Ramsey.
with okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Anne Ramsey. But still expect
Yeah.
to like dance with Jeff at the dance, and then when he's saying like, "Come on, we talked about this. Like I did my part, whatever." And she's like, "No, you didn't." And he's just kind of like, I left a message on. She's like, "You broke up with my machine?" But as it's slowly just kind of like dawning on her like but also I mean I feel like that's what teenagery ness is about trying to hope for the best or being convinced that things are the worst when it's just who knows what it is. You're either completely oblivious and blissful or you're completely degraded, is that a word? Degraded, I don't know, but anyway, it's crestfallen, and it's not the end of the world. It's just
Crestfallen.
people didn't even notice, and it's like,
Mm.
whoa, they didn't even notice. Like, I mean, I don't know, the highs and lows of high school. But one of my favorite things that Hilary Swank also does in this movie, though, is just the take she does when Buffy re-enters the dance. The dance is no longer en fuego, but
Mhm.
but she re-enters and Kimberly just starts freaking out, just like, "Oh no, she's one of them! Please don't let her in here! Please don't let her." And then she just Stephen Root, I think the principal, just knocks her head into the
Yeah.
wall, and it makes a clunk. And I don't know if that was in ADR or if like literally it's just a hollow wall. So she just said, "Push me as hard as you want." I don't know if she was the
Yeah.
one just knocking her head, but whatever.
Well,
And
she
then her
wasn't
just
like that far from the wall.
right, but just her
Yeah.
crossed eyes as she slides down the wall, and then in the like the kind of post-credit sequence of like everybody on the news
Hmm.
with her just kind of like, and I will do everything within my power to uphold the title as Miss America, or whatever she's saying, because she's in such a daze from the knock she got on her head. And I'm just like,
Hmm.
that's a star. That's a fucking
Yeah.
star.
Well, the first time we like are introduced to her, because she's not on the cheer squad, she's in
Yeah,
the bleachers. She's just sort of like bopping along, and then someone like this guy comes and sits next to her, and she
yeah.
just gives him this like, oh, and
Ew.
he gets up and walks away. And then
It's
she immediately, as soon as he's gone, she's just like right back into bopping
yeah.
her head. Yeah,
Like you would not be shocked at all in a post-clueless world to hear her say "as
yeah.
if" when he sits next to her. But also, again, that kind of sets the stage for her character that she's on the sidelines. She's still really, really, engrossed in like what she's watching her friends do, but she needs maybe it's planting the seed for like a little insecurity for like, I need to do something to be more important in this group. So at the first opportunity, she undermines Buffy and she wears the
Mhm.
jacket she knows she wants, and then she, tells her, get out of my facial. But
Yeah,
and the girls follow her because they're sheep, because Benny was
yeah.
right. I also love the kind of slight Salem's Lot reference when Benny comes back as a vampire floating outside the window of
Mm,
Pike.
yeah.
David Arquette was on fire in this movie, just with all of
Mhm.
his come on, fight like a man. Even though Bert Lahr never saw it, I get Cowardly Lion from it every time.
It's very
Just like
cowardly lion. Yeah.
put him up. Which one do you foist?
Um, Here's a question for you,
Yes.
Edward. How funky is your chicken?
How funky is your chicken?
How loose is your goose?
Our goose is totally loose. Oh my God, that was another thing I never noticed before, or if I did, I forgot about it because I haven't seen this movie, even though I've seen it many times. I haven't seen it in
Hmm.
quite a few years. Watching Christy Swanson do her cheerleading, particularly in the opening sequence during the title sequence,
Yeah.
she is visibly making mistake after mistake. They're minuscule. They're not like terrible, but you're just kind of like, okay, I feel like head cheerleader would be a little more on top of her game. But like
Yeah.
she's like missing cues and like starting early and then backing up and then starting again and everything. And it's adorable. I think it's great. But I'm just like, all I can do is imagine the choreographer standing beneath the camera, mirroring all of the choreography, and everybody in the chorus essentially behind her, is like they've been rehearsing, but she's, the star of a movie. So how much rehearsal did she actually get? She probably got like 2 sessions, went out there
Hmm.
after shooting God knows how many scenes. It was just kind of like, okay, let's do this now. Fuck. But I think it's kind of adorable. It reminds me I'm watching a movie, and that's not always a bad thing.
Well,
Um,
the in the performance, like whatever she's doing, she's owning it. So I think
yes.
that's what sells it as head cheerleader.
But so discussing the opening moments, there's something about the end that I never noticed before. It's the last lines of the movie, and I don't know how I feel about them. But I don't know, and I don't know if they made any kind of impression on you. It's Pike and Buffy,
Hmm.
and Pike tells her, "I saved you a dance." And so they're going to start dancing, and he says, "I suppose," but they're just kind of circling each other. And he says, "I suppose you want to lead?" And she says, "No." And he says, "Me neither." And she says, "This is a good thing." And then they just kind of get on the motorcycle and drive off. Do you
Okay.
make anything of that?
No, the ending always feels very abrupt, which honestly, not a bad thing. We don't need to hang around and have multiple endings
No, not if you're an
for
Argento fan, especially. You've been watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But I don't know, there was something about the exchange that just kind of felt, I don't know. At first, I was just kind of like, "You dick," when he says, "I suppose you want to lead." Like you've been saving. I mean, but again, like it's not the way he says it. There's something really cute about when he comes to. He's like, "Did I do all that?" And she's like, "Nope." He's like, "You did all that." She's like, "Yep."
Yeah.
That felt more Buffy. That you know what? That could have ended the movie.
That, or it could have been like the fire bad tree pretty.
Right.
He can say he just says something like very profound, and then
And she's
she's
like,
just
"Fire bad, tree pretty.
tree pretty. Yeah,
Fire
yeah,
bad, tree pretty." That's what my
yeah.
headspace is. But I
Yeah.
mean, I guess the thing that the reason why I'm torn about it, I don't dislike it, but because it's not terribly memorable either. But obviously, I've seen the movie hundreds of times, and this is the first time it ever stood out to me. But I do like the fact that she says no and he says me neither, and she says this is a good thing, kind of saying like, well, we're not going to fall in traditional male female kind of roles. We're going to define it for ourselves. I'm going to be the Slayer, you're going to be
The
Pike, and we're going to find
Slayerette.
out. Yeah, well, we're going to find out what that means. Are you a Slayerette? Are you gonna be my new Watcher? Like, what are you going to do? What you going to do, Pike? What you got? What you got?
Mhm.
That's one character I wish would have made a crossover into the series, even just for
Mhm.
one episode. Not, I don't want him in the series by and large, but I would have loved to him just
Played
visit
by Luke.
Buffy. No, no, because Luke Perry and Sarah
Recast.
Michelle Gellar, that would have looked weird. Like my old boyfriend, Luke Perry. At least he and Christy Swanson were about the same age, I believe, when they made the movie.
Mhm.
And it's another case of like an
Well,
old man.
there is the one character I forget his name, but the from season
Oh
two, Lie to
yeah,
Me,
yeah.
played by her boyfriend from The
Yeah.
Grudge, that
And I
actor.
think I said when we
Yeah.
discussed the in the pod, I think I said it would have been nice. It would have been a nice touch if that would have been Pike, you
Well, I
know.
would have felt like weird that that's what became of Pike.
I love continuity. I don't
Yeah.
care.
No,
It's
that's fair.
interesting. And that's one of my favorite episodes. So you put Pike in one of my
Oh,
favorite episodes, I'm on board.
all righty.
All
Well,
right, hey.
I think that is a good time to get to the cherry picker.
It's not like we kill people on purpose.
A loose
Yeah.
is your goose. A
And
goose is
geese is
totally
totally
loose.
loose.
So come on, all you. I don't remember what they say.
Hogs fans, come
Hogs
on,
fans,
all you
you
Hogs
Hogs
fans,
fans, and
and
shake
shake
your
your
caboose.
caboose.
And shake
Shake
your
your
caboose.
caboose.
Woo! And that's it.
Woo!
Completely
Yeah.
anticlimactic.
Hmm. Yeah. All right, we need a cherry on top.
um, there's so, I mean,
You did say a lot of
Christy
praises
Swanson.
for Paul Rubens.
Oh, for Paul Rubens?
Emily,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love him. I'm comfortable with that.
sure. No, I'm good.
I mean, honestly, it's everybody. Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't, none of it matters because they all do so well. Even the people in like the bit parts who went on to have major careers or just walk on roles with no lines.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. It's this wonderful, glorious kind of like little flawed crystal in my
Mm.
horror my horror
Horror.
canon, my horror
Horror.
chronology,
The
and
horror, it passed through Christy Swanson and it went to Sarah Michelle Gellar.
that was one thing I was really grateful for, though, with the series. And I might have said this in the pod, but because I was such a purist in my
Mhm.
mind, thinking the movie was, the original thing. And then when I saw the depths, not only that the material was allowed to go to with the series, but that the actors were also able to mine with these characters or with the new characters even. It was like, oh, this is the thing. And to this day, I will say, with all of my praise for this Buffy of the movie, my Buffy is
Mm.
Sarah Michelle Gellar. So she's the cherry on top, really.
Well, maybe she was in some of those episodes
Maybe
that we
she
did.
was.
You have to go check them out.
I don't
Join
know.
join Patreon. Anyway, last week we asked you who deserves to die the most in Curse of Chucky. I nominated Officer Stanton. You nominated Ian Pierce. Across Patreon, Instagram, and YouTube, the final tally was 160 for Officer Stanton versus 263 for Ian Pierce.
Ooh.
Congratulations.
Hey, thank you. The least enthusiastic congratulations. Even the clap was like the slow clap, the ironic clap. He started going like,
Yeah. Way to go.
God for you.
Vicky screams, gotta vote for Ian. Useless piece of shit. I don't think poorly of Officer Stanton for smuggling out the Chucky doll. Who is going to say no to Jennifer Tilly slash Tiffany? I
Good
would
point.
commit crime for that woman.
I
So
would
sad
too.
to hear Eddie is leaving. You are an absolute
Oh,
joy. Fully support the self-care decision, though.
absolute joy corrupts. Absolutely. But
You're,
thank you.
you're
Thank you so
what? You're
much.
corrupting?
I'm corrupt.
You're corrupted.
I'm corrupted, and I am corrupting.
Corrupted.
Corrupted! Anyway.
Thomas Baker, for sure, Ian.
Ah.
Jazzy Boo. To be fair, I didn't even watch the movie, just the kill count. That being said, I still don't remember either, but I voted for the cop. Leaf PJ? Leaf?
Oh.
Maybe. I don't know. Officer is a local actor in Winnipeg. I recognized him in Home Depot once. He seemed slimy. The actor or the cop?
Oh.
Spidey fan. I remember liking Ian, so I'm curious for the arguments. I feel like Ian was hoping to get ahead of a shitty situation. I think Ian isn't a great guy, but he's recently laid off, still found a job, and is trying to do what he can for his daughter. I'm voting the cop.
If I had a sister-in-law who was having an attack of some kind, and she was holding a syringe in front of me, begging me to inject it under her rib, and I just stand there weighing the pros and cons, I'm a piece of shit. So that's my argument against that.
Well,
Go
you
on.
already made that argument.
I know, I just wanted to say it again.
Sean Prinsick. I vote the entire cast. All the characters in this film are just awful people. Adrian Phillips. This was tough. The officer does heinous things, but his presence is limited and feels peripheral in the scope of what the movie wants me to be mad at. I'm made to sit through Ian's inaction in the face of danger and his straight up refusal to give Nika the injection. Nope. When he mentioned that the teddy bear camera cost him $450, that mentioned putting it on Barb's card, my immediate thought was, axe this fucker for being so petulant, meek, and incessant. Then Chucky literally did. How considerate. Ian's just so passive until he pulls a Lorraine from X and turns on our heroine with their misguided sense of morality. Ian Pierce is dead. Good.
Betty Davis.
I forgot about Lorraine from X. God.
Wow,
What a douchebag.
And Pierce is dead. Good. Anyway, go on.
Ruffin Boy. I don't remember the cop's role, but I remember Ian and his deal. Although it isn't really fair, I'm voting Ian. I could be wrong, but I doubt the cop did anything as bad as cheating with the babysitter, which is really my only argument for Ian since I haven't watched the movie in a while. Well, Ruffin Boy, I think you should watch it because he didn't cheat with the babysitter.
No, not at all.
It was Barb. It was that bitch Barb. Their eyes so close together. Grant Dempsey, Ian, for defying the laws of physics, getting rammed in the shins by the frontmost bit of Nika's wheelchair somehow knocks him into a front flip? Or does he jump to avoid the chair and somehow turn that into a front flip? What happens there? The scene needs him stunned on the floor and turns him into a Looney Tunes character to get him there. Future Boy. Officer Lowlife gets my vote. Fun story. In 2012, while working at my medical prop rental house in LA, a nice young lady came in and said she wanted to rent a wheelchair. She would be going out of the country soon to shoot a movie with her dad, and she wanted to practice ahead of time as her character needed to look proficient in her wheelchair. We picked out a chair that suited her, and she told me to write up the order under Fiona Dorff.
Ooh.
The wheels started to spin in my head. Wait, you're shooting a movie with your dad? Are you making another Chucky movie? She sheepishly said, yeah. And I told her, that is so awesome. Congrats. She returned the wheelchair a few weeks later and told me it was a huge help, and she was off to Canada to film. To this day, I take pride in the fact that I was at the ground level of of her creation of Nika.
That's awesome.
It is
I love
very
stories like
awesome.
that.
Yeah, that's so cool. Andy Kaczynski. Andy Kaczynski. I barely remember Officer Stanton in this movie, but I'm going to go with him. Probably, in my opinion, a runner-up for most forgettable character in this franchise. Ian at least had a gruesome death, so my pick is Officer Stanton. Silent Saturn. It's been a long time since I've seen the film and barely remember the characters. Gonna go with the less handsome one. No offense, Officer Stanton.
Oh my God. And he fucks in the next movie.
Who does?
That actor, he plays another role. I'm not going to spoil it anymore.
Officer Stan? Well,
The actor who plays him plays another role and fucks in the movie.
Tony Guts. Eddie, I can't believe Zack didn't hit you with Chucky's line from Seed. Nobody leaves me.
Oh.
Nobody. You will.
I didn't say it like with Jennifer Tilly's, but just, I'm going Chucky and I'm taking the kid. We don't have a kid though, so I don't know who's the kid. I'm not taking anything. I'm going Chucky, and you can have the kid.
You can keep the podcast. You will definitely be missed. I always voted for your choice, even when I didn't agree with you. LOL. It's hard to believe. What the fuck is this shit? It's hard to believe we won't get your hilarious intros doing great impressions.
Aww.
Please, before you retire, we have to get one more Ted Levine from Joyride and Lupita from Us. LOL.
Ooh, okay, I'll write those down.
Oh, you're not going to do them now? Okay.
No, I'm not gonna. Oh, no, Lupita. That needs to. You can't just do it. But I can say Candy Cane. Candy Cane. Or Cher saying Candy Cane.
I'm an Oscar winner.
Where are you, Candy Cane? I've been looking for you all over Route 35. Seriously, this is so rude. Not cool, Candy Cane. Candy Cane, hell.
Who's your pick?
For this one?
Yeah.
I got lost. I didn't know we reached the end. Okay. I made an allusion earlier to Buffy kind of learning the value of life and everything like that, learning to acknowledge it at least. Yeah. And I feel like there's an example of kind of the antithesis of that, and it's embodied in a character named Lothos. Because Lothos has Buffy completely under his thrall while she is telling Amelin, clap. And then he starts playing that damn fiddle. And she just freezes and looks at him. And then he pauses and he gives Amelin a look. And Amelin looks at him like, what the fuck? She looks at Amelin, stakes him, and he does that great, and he slips out and then comes back,
Isn't there a post credits as well?
Yeah, at the very end, he's going, and he kicks, I think he kicks the wall 3 times. He goes, and then he dies.
But is anyone paying attention to me?
One of my favorite things of that is when he drops into frame the second time and then drops out. You just, as he's dropping out, you just see Buffy do this take back to Lothos. What the fuck is going on? But anyway, Lothos basically gets one of his own staked for no good reason. There's a complete lack of regard for the loyalty that his minions have shown him thus far, and he has no qualms about wasting them. That said, if there were more things like that to his character, he'd be more interesting. But there's too many things in the lack of production value, or even just the choices they made by going the kitschy, kind of Bela Lugosi Halloween costume route with him, and also just the way he gets taken out. It's so unceremonious. He makes a comment to Amelin, he took my arm. He says, wonder how you ever lasted through the Crusades. I'm like, you lasted through the Crusades and Pike took you out in a few seconds. And then And then Buffy took you out actually, but Pike like kicked your ass twice, and then here Lothos is chewing Amelin out about like you got killed so easily. It's like, well, how did you live so long? You're haunting her dreams, and we think that you could have this thrall over her, and everything. And then all she has to do is basically say, "You're nothing. You're shit." But it's not even that interesting. The music stopped for no reason, and then she stakes you, and then she spins around when you insult her, and she kicks it harder into you, and then it's just like, ugh. And it's we deserved better. Buffy deserved better. So I'm choosing Lothos for all of those reasons. R.I.P. Rest in power, Rutger Hauer. Love you.
Rest in power, Rutger Hauer.
Yeah. That's the t-shirt.
I'm gonna be a little sneaky here.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna nominate Buffy's dad, Hank Summers. If you've seen the series, you know.
Oh, you are cheating.
Yeah.
Is his name even Hank Summers in any of the credits for this?
It's Buffy's dad. Well, it's Buffy's mom and Buffy's dad.
But we
that's
know that
Joyce and Hank. Yeah.
He is on screen. He does have a line. So,
Yeah.
and it is, he's a corporeal being. So
he's the first domino. As you say.
First domino! A man who has virtually no effect on this movie and any of its. Yeah, the transgressions he commits, they haven't even transgressed yet.
All right. Well, if you would like to vote for either Lothos or Buffy's dad, you can do that a few different ways. Firstly, you can go over to Patreon, and even if you are not supporting over there, you can join as a free member. You get an extra vote where you can then go over to Instagram at the Cherry Picker Pod and vote again for a second vote, but follow us there. And then also you can vote on YouTube. So that's 3 votes that you can get if you want to really triple up on your preferred Cherry Picker option. But make sure you are subscribed to us there. Also, if you are watching on YouTube and you prefer to listen, the RSS feed link is in the descriptions down below. Edward, where can they find you on social media?
The Letterboxd, Instagram, my old YouTube channel, Edward is Truth. If you type it in one word, traditional spelling, you'll find me. How about you, Zack Cherry?
Main YouTube channel, Zack Cherry, ZACK space CHERRY. Instagram and Letterboxd is retro bitch face, all one word. Which branding wise it's not consistent, but I don't want to give up that Instagram handle.
No, you're a retro bitch face.
It's retro bitch face.
It's a play on resting bitch face, no?
That's what it was, yeah. And then my affinity for, I think it was like retro furniture at the mid-century.
Oh, furniture.
At the time, yeah.
Oh, I would have thought it was like horror, like retro.
Like anything retro, really. Anyway, I'm also on Twitter, ZackCherry8. Eddie, what do we got going on next week?
Is it the one about the holiday that was a trailer first and then got made into a movie? It's that thing that guy who makes movies he's a fan, but the movies aren't always great. But I like him. But yeah, Thanksgiving.
Okay, just say the movie. It's Thanksgiving. To celebrate Thanksgiving, the American Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Well, anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we will be right back.